Hello, and today we'll begin day 15 of Heroes Advent. One by one, they were swept away, dancing upon the winds until they were swallowed back into the void from whence they came, leaving you sitting alone once more in your home amidst the nothingness of the void. Goodbye, Lisa. When you awakened, you found yourself back in your cell beneath the guild, likely having slept through the night, but without windows or sunlight, you couldn't be too sure. Sitting on the uncomfortably hard cot for a few minutes with no sign of the guards, you lay back down, eyes to the ceiling. In the silence of solitary silence, you ruminated over the events from the dream. Max, Carl, Elisa, that voice. Thinking about it only made your head spin. Around, from around the corner emerged the same eagle from the trial yesterday, still wearing the same armament, signs and name tag. His features were noticeably more relaxed compared to the night before the trial. Dave, it's nearly time for your departure. His voice was almost sounded remorseful. Oh, yes, give me a minute. Make sure you leave nothing behind. Of course, I won't be long. You dressed and groomed yourself quickly as a guard stood inside the cell for you. All set. Yes, I'm ready. The reality of the situation started to sink in. Your stomach dropped like a lead balloon. This didn't go unnoticed by the eagle. Hey, uh-huh. I want to apologize for having treated you so roughly yesterday. Oh, no. I understand you have a duty to uphold and all. And no matter how I rationalize it, I was still responsible for what happened. Hey, it's just between us. I'm rooting for you guys. Despite everything that's happened, I still have faith in Lady Swing's choice to depend on you. So I'm choosing to believe in you, regardless of what the verdict says. Thank you. I hope I can do right by her and the others. The others, you mean your companions. You're in good hands, I say. Captain Maxwell is very reliable after all. Maybe you'll even find Felix along the way. Felix? That's his brother, not to be confused with the Aegis Estate butler, Sir Sebastian. I see. The eagle's words warm your heart. Listen enough to face the early morning darkness with a little less reluctance. Thank you, Sir Pigman. Don't mention it. I wait your return as heroes if all goes well. As you exit the guild, you were met with a rush of cold air that left you shivering. You made it out. You made it in time to see the first rays of daybreak crest over the hills, doing little to stave off the remaining twilight. You quickly spotted Alaric and your friends waiting for you at the far end of the field. Good morning, Dave. How are you feeling? I'm doing well, thank you, sir. It's quite chilly, though. Indeed, it's rare for anyone to be awake at this hour, let alone with the city in the state it's in. I do feel the need to apologize to you, Dave. Were this your efforts missing, I will see you off later in the day. However, I cannot wish another moment of civil unrest, given the sentiments around your sentence, as there remains those who wish you dead. I understand, sir. Thank you for your understanding. I will inform Lady Spring of all that has transpired once her strength returns to her. Ah, Lisa, could you send her my regards? Wow, this is a pivotal moment in our history. Make her willing. As such, I would not wish for you to depart with any lingering regrets. Yeah, still I appreciate the sentiment, Sir Alaric. Of course, everything is prepared. Are you ready to go? Yes, I'm ready. Yes, I think I'm ready. I'll give you a moment to speak with your squire before you set off. Ah, yes. Be sure to take your belongings as well, Dave. The tiger gestured to the small screen crate next to a few guards. On top of which was a leather backpack he recognized. Oh, I almost forgot about it myself. Thank you, sir. Make sure everything is accounted for. Yes, sir. After heading over to retrieve your backpack, you join your friends as they review their equipment. Alex was sorting through one of the cases from the lab filled to capacity with crystal gadgets and contraptions. Sebastian and Festin were beside him, helping with his less delicate supplies. On the other side, Cody packed away a few of his kitchen utensils with him, anything portable for the long journey. Tensai was also there, checking on the rations and other supplies for Cody. Ray and Max, for their part, were traveling light, only a satchel and backpack respectively, both already secured to their Hull's saddle. From the guild, you could see two guards march their way over to you, a canine and draconic muzzle peeking from their helmets. You recognize them as the pair of guards stationed at the old mine outpost. Hail, you. Good day, sir. Oh, it's you guys. Was there something you needed from me? We're just here to bid you adieu. It's only the proper thing to do for a fellow guild member. I'm glad you still see me as one of you. I'm doing my part for everyone. And if you don't mind me asking, which one of you is Torzy again? The candid Draconian raised his hand, leaving his canine friend rather bashful. That's me, sire. He is Ilya. Affirmative. Ah, well, nice to finally know your names. I'm Dave. We never really asked for your name. Apologies for our ignorance. And hey, it's fine. I was supposed to keep my identity under wraps too, you know? Understandable. Oh, right. The canine reached around for something from his pack before handing you a small satchel filled with vials clacking together. We wanted to give you something as our parting gift. Don't tell anyone, but we knit these from the warehouse. But it's okay. After clearing out the outpost, we had reported that some of the supplies were lost to the slime attack, only to find some vials still filled and intact. We couldn't take it for ourselves, so we thought of giving them all to you, except our schedules were full all week long. And then the city-wide attack happened. Oh, right. Still, thank you guys. This is going to be very helpful out in the field. Use it wisely. You won't find anything like it out in the wild side. It's our top tier portions, but you didn't hear that from me. Nope. Got it. I'll make it count. Well, I suppose this is it. Bon voyage, sire. May you return home safely. Ordina Prosperita. Ordina Prosperita. The two guards gave you proper salutations before stepping away. It's about time we get going. Hey guys. Hi, Dave. I'm sorry that you guys got dragged into this. It shouldn't have come to this. Given the circumstances, we could have been much worse off. No use dwelling on it. Really? I'm surprised. I would have thought you'd be the most opposed to all this, Al. This war is fickle, why? I try to see this as an opportunity. I've decided to treat this as a sort of field trial for my research. A field trial? Yes, we developed a multitude of tools to analyze nether out in the field. Instead of relying on samples and those affected with it, I just need to get the remainder of my equipment that was left at the Akai checkpoint. Wait, we're going back to Akai? Yes, Master Alec has authorized us to keep the things we had already taken with us to the Akai originally. It's also en route to our next destination. There's no good reason not to. I packed what else I can was I've packed what else I can reasonably carry with me from my kitchen, but the rest of my travel work and pans were left behind. Geez, was it always like this before? Were you both always carrying miniature warehouses on these trips? I mean, look at me and Max. We only need a couple of essentials and we're good to go. This isn't your regular mission, But this is a regular field, Mrs. White. We're heading out into unknown regions firsthand. It may not value your safety, but some of us value our survival as well as comfort. The lynx motioned to the dragon's exposed midriff and a small satchel of clothes that was even smaller than Max's rucksack. Fine, fine, you got a point. Dawn is almost upon us. We should head for the city gates, post haste. Agreed, let's get going. Guys, hold up. What about Dave? Me? Oh, do you know how to ride a Hof on your own, Dave? Hof, I don't think I've ridden one before. Dave, you can ride with me. Just let me adjust the saddle a bit so you can fit. Sure. We'll be alright? It should be. We had to practice for battlefield extraction. Just make sure to hold tight. A fall from a galloping Hof is painful. I'll keep that in mind. Thanks, Max. You hopped onto Max's Hof and made yourself comfortable. With everyone properly mounted, Max guided everyone towards the city's outer gate. Alaric and a small crowd attending your departure followed on foot. Approaching the gate, you found everyone from before gathered by in a rather orderly fashion. Those more familiar with you, or those among you, waved their hands while exchanging pleasantries. Some were even cheering for you all. And those that were less cordial only stood in silence as they offered you solemn salutations. May y'all make it back in one piece. Stay safe, Captain Maxwell. Yeah, kick the corruptor's ass. Among the group, you spotted quite a few familiar faces coming forth to greet you. You better come back to me in one piece way. You worry about yourself, you salty bastard. I'll see you when I see you again. I'll drag you back myself out if you don't. Master Alex, Sir Dave, please stay safe for Fesson out there. We will. I have to trouble you with running the maintenance routine in my absence. Yes, Fesson has that covered. Master Alex does not have to worry. The Aegis manor awaits your return, young master. Thank you, Sebastian. Please take care of yourself as well. I shall, young master. I shall await your return. Tensai, it looks like my employment for you will be extended for some time. I hope you don't mind continuing to man the kitchen for me in my absence. Please, that's the least of your worries, Sir Cody. Make the most of those agreements. I'll do my best. Thank you for your help, Ten. Good fortune be upon thee, Kodiak. Of course, at least until we truly ran out of supplies, which I hope won't be any time soon. Stay safe, Max. Please come back home safely. Soon enough, everyone had already said their goodbyes. You could see the dragon and the lynx rather glossy-eyed. The cheering continued on for a while, even after you departed from the guild. Despite the fair tidings, he couldn't help but feel rather wistful, though he decided against voicing your thoughts lest you ruin the moment. With the crowd in a more temperate state, Alaric stood in the middle of the lot, prepared to address everyone present. Is everyone ready? We're ready, sir. Good. Now, I suppose there won't be a better moment to address everyone. As you already know, the journey ahead will not be an easy one for all of you. It will be full of trials and tribulations. But as Galanteers, there are no fighting men suited for the task. It is what we have trained for. It is what we were made for. To tread this perilous path upon which our radiant self dispelled the shadows that he had wrought upon our land. Or at the very least, burn a memory so bright that we shall be remembered forever. Go forth, brave Galanteers. May the Maker's grace guide your way through, then back home triumphantly. Ordina Prosperita. Ordina Prosperita. With the fainting cheers and well wishes encouraging you onward, their voices faded into the distance, ushering you into your solemn journey. Everyone rode in relative silence, speaking in conspiratorial murmurs and conversations. Usually Carl or you would play something on your phones if you couldn't talk with the others. Though the only thing that played were the nature sounds around you. It didn't take long before the silence started to get to you. It had escaped your notice that it wasn't just your group, but bringing up the rear was a few mounted soldiers as well. Hey, what? He paused, focusing on the walking from the Hof to such side as Max reined it in. Did Alaric send you with us? Aye, we've been instructed to guard the Akai so it does not come to harm as well. Accompanying your group was secondary. As well, isn't Akai safe? That's what we like to believe. Which was also the mistake we made with the Guardian Crystal. Aye, we can't take anything as absolute anymore, even if you hadn't meant for it to happen. The fact remains we grew complacent. Another oversight could be catastrophic. Before long, midday had come by the time you reached the checkpoint. The guardsmen departing through the gate towards following the trail up to the Akai. Captain Max. Perfect timing. Do you collect our supplies after all? Yes, sir. We received our orders from Master Alaric. You've been authorized to retrieve the supplies at your campsite. All save for the hover cart. It has already been repossessed to aid in the relocation effort. That will do. Just show us where the supplies are and we'll take it off your hands. This way, sir. We were guided to a storeroom, hidden away to one side of the outpost. Cody and Alex were quick to grab their equipment from the lot, adding it to their already bulging packs. Max and Ray handled the tent kits and bedrolls, easily fitting them on their mostly unburdened steeds. Even after being told you could take your things back the door to the storeroom, remained under the watchful surveillance. Likely just there to ensure you haven't stolen something else you shouldn't. With the last of everyone's belongings packed away, you all mounted back onto your hooves, thanking the clerk for his assistance. You watched him return to his small office inside the wooden structure as even the forest disappeared at your backs. Now that the guards were gone, the usual prophecy you all shared seemed to return, your guildmates openly speaking of their plans ahead. So, where exactly are we going? We'll be following the established route towards the King's domain, though we might have to deviate from the maps our recon squads have mapped out to stop by settlements for additional supplies. Obeliscos lies all the way on the other side, on the other end of the continent. The what now? His stronghold. His stronghold. In combat, I guess you could think of it as the Flying Castle. It's not a legible flying castle, is it? It doesn't really fly, but it was built physically above the previous castle. That was the gossip around in the honeysuckle. Correct. After the coup of a Baumgarten house, the king built his stronghold hovering over the old castle. Survivors say it serves as a beacon to remind others of his rule over East Gallant. The heavens reign seen and acknowledged throughout Gauss, Kiltir, and Zaxoni. That was his vision. But that wasn't enough for him. Now that acknowledgement has spread across the whole continent. Disgusting. He better enjoy what remains of his reign. We'll put a stop to it. So, you guys still didn't really answer my question earlier. Well, I suppose I wasn't being clear. The closest settlement from the Akai checkpoint is Fort Firenze. We'll probably stop there for the night and head to Venezia the next morning. Venezia, the city of canals. The last time we were there was when. The lynx grew silent, his expression darkening. Everyone else also didn't seem inclined to follow up on that. Alex? Sorry, it's nothing. Are you sure, Alexander? You can always reroute if you don't. The recommended path According to the scouts, is landing at Firenze before passing through Venezia. There's no point putting our lives at risk going off the established path. Agree. Any objections? You and the others share a collective nod, content with the decision. All right, it's settled then. With the road set, we should consider getting into position. Why, you know the drill. Head out ahead of the pack and keep us warned for any threats. Just like old times there. Gotcha. Alex, you with me. I'll need your help keeping us on track and strategize in the event of another Nether Beast attack. Cody, the rear guard, the rear guard should be safer for now. You hold back with our rations. Everyone's order clear? Clear. I guess I'll just go with whomever I'm riding with. Yes, we can't keep stopping to swap your partner. We can't we can't keep stopping to swap your riding partner. This means you're staying with Cody, Alex, and I. I guess I'll do. With their orders in place, the Red Dragon went ahead of the pack. You sure I'm not a burden like this, guys? It would have been worse off having you ride without any training. You'll find a way to make yourself useful, Dave. You always seem to. You can still help us strategize. A fresh perspective is always welcome. Still, there's a non-zero possibility of things going sideways. Keep your wits about you. Well, all right. I'll see what I can do. Hmm. So the cities you guys mentioned, what are they like? I suppose I should give you a quick rundown on the local settlements, on the basis that you lack familiarity with this continent. Well, that must should be obvious. So, what kind of place was Venezia? That was a canal city. Right. Before the invasion, it was known as the City of Canals. The underground tunnel and canal network reached far and wide across this general area. Canals, was it built near the sea or something? No, it was built near a lake, actually. What made you say they built it near the sea? The constant tidal Moses would not allow any structures to hold integrity. You forgot about Atlantia, Alex. Atlantia is different. Their whole city is built with a conduit system at its core. I can't imagine people trying to do the same in the sea shallows, even a Galacio. So foreign words kind of trip me up. I don't really know much of this other place you mentioned, but back in my world, there was a city built on a series of small islands and lagoons. I see, what was that city called? Venice, I think. I wasn't paying attention in geography class a lot. Fascinating. What are the odds that cities between two different worlds share names like that? Huh? What do you mean? Well, Venice is another name for Venetia and one of the Rhodian dialects. In fact, a lot of cities in Paleria have more than one name. For example, aside from Venice, Venetia was known as Venete. Oh, so that's why I heard of that other name several before. Yes, Venezia, Venete, Venice, Firenze, Valencia, Florence, Palermo, Panomas, Crystal Coast, they all refer to the same place respectively. Huh? That's so complicated. Where I'm from, they just named the settlement after families that built it. You're Costa Leven, and town of, you built the town with Azipov, then it'll be Castelliven Azipov. Simple as that. Very Vodian. Very Verbodian. I like it though. Well, I'm still just going to call them the way they're called around Crystal Coast. Names don't matter if they're just the same locations, right? Yes, well, I'm fascinated by the nomenclature. I can't deny that most people would default to the most commonly used one. So, why were there so many tunnels and canals in Venetia? Again, oh, I believe they simply repurposed the old mining shafts and quarries once the reserves had been mined out. The canals were just a byproduct of that, natural springs and underground streams that the people mine into at some point. Now that does sound pretty cool, not gonna lie. From the way all the texts describe it, it does sound lovely. I wish, I wish I could have seen that for myself. All there was in Vabordia was snowfields and tundras. Having lived in Palermo for most of our lives, I would have liked to see these legendary Venetian tunnels before the invasion happened. I guess all we can do is dream. It all happened before any of us were born. We don't exactly have the luxury of sightseeing, even if the tunnels still existed. So that's the same. But back to the topic at hand, Venezia was not just it's not any town city. It was the main trading hub between Paleria Destra and Paleria Sinistra, or for simplicity's sake, I suppose you should I suppose you could see it as the east and west of the empire. Any supply caravans going from the old capital would need to pass through Mediolanum and Venezia's tunnel network before they can reach the eastern side of the continent. That's a lot of names I don't recognize. Me neither. Though I suppose most of the old countries know more. Why, either abandoned or having fallen to the initial Nether invasion. Hmm. From my understanding, much like Paleria Magna and Mediolanum, Venezia was actually quite prosperous. The people had ample supplies to weather the storm, and even their station garrison was equipped with state of the art crystal weaponry. Hold on, it sounds like they were prepared for the invasion. Is the city abandoned now? Not quite. In order to explain that, you'll need some context first. When the old capital fell, the news traveled fast. Being the training hub that it was, Venezia was one of the first to be aware of the invasion when it went beyond a mere territory expansion. But due to an oversight, the governor of Venezia at the time, Marshal di Provenzo, left the city in a defenseless state that the king's army simply waltzed straight through the city's outposts. What kind of oversight would have let this happen? A whole lot of bureaucracy. Oh, is this that city I've heard of? Is this that city I've heard others talk about? Where absolutely nothing could be done without some sort of formal request, for commissioning a weapon to moving soldiers to even being allowed to go to the bathroom. Yes, even evacuations couldn't take place until it had been authorized. As you can imagine, even when those requests were filed well in advance, nothing was done until the last minute once those requests had to go through the entire chain of command. What? Even during a crisis, that can't be real. That was the failure on Governor Marshall's part. As a result, their initial casualties were in the hundreds. It took a lot of struggle for them to consolidate within the city walls and repel further advances from the Nether Army. Since then, however, they've closed the city gates and rejected communication with other active settlements, including Crystal Coast. Huh, but shouldn't they be working with the guild to better fend off the enemy? I thought so too, but looks like they don't want to risk what's left of the city being overrun. Right. What about the other place, Forense? Fort Forense, yes, between the Akai and Venezia. It's also a mining city, isn't it? Good to know. You still remember something from class at least. Yes, it was built into the valley. It started out as another mining hub. The mineral reserves there weren't as rich as Sardinia, or even Sicilia for that matter, but the first settlers did make quite the fortune there. So after Venezia's fall, they saw the writing on the wall and quickly got together to fortify the entire city walls, which was how they managed to fend off the initial attacks for most part. Still, the city is now nothing more than a military garrison, given everyone had already fled to Crystal Coast. You know, now that you mention it, I think every city you talked about so far are mining cities. Even Crystal Coast, too, right? Well, crystals are the lifeblood for everyone in Arborea. Did you have something like that where you were from, Dave? I guess. I think back in my world, it was rare minerals and oil. Oil. Why would anyone want oil? Well, I don't really know how to answer that, but it was pretty much the lifeblood of my world, too. And here I thought it was food. Heh, hard to deny both answers to that. But yes, that should be pretty much all you need to know about Venezia and Firenze. Thank you for the lecture, Alex. My pleasure. So we're going to Venezia after the fort, right? Yes, if anything goes according to plan. Venetians don't typically welcome outsiders anymore, but since we're just passing by, I hope they don't mind a quick visit. Our scouts did indicate that there's still some form of trading going on with survivors across the land. So while Fort Firenze is our best bet at stockpiling, we should still take a look when we swing by Venezia. Hope all goes well. Yeah, I hope so too. As the conversation drifted onto other topics, you could feel the sun begin to descend beyond the shady treetops. Once you got the team talking, time seemed to go by faster, though you couldn't tell how far you've traveled without any obvious trademarks to look at. Until then, you hadn't encountered any form of never opposition, nor did any of your surroundings stand out as peculiar, everything as normal as the forest you had arrived in. Though there had been a pattern of darkened patches of soil hosting withered vegetation almost as if scorched by ice. Sometimes you look over to Max, who noticed and glanced back with a smile before focusing on the path ahead. It seemed like everyone was a lot more preoccupied keeping an eye out for active threats to notice it. You decided not to bring it up, at least not at the time. There were more pressing things to look out for. After a while, you tried to relax, maintaining an upright posture so as not to tip over whenever the host made a sudden turn every now and then. Returning to silence, time seemed to slow down again, your perception of distance distorted by the same landscape of forests and rocky hillsides. It was only when the tree line broke just ahead to reveal the vast valleys in the distance. Nestled within the foothills, you could see the giant smokestack puffing in the center of what you assumed to be the aforementioned fortress. The city was encased in towering walls of concrete, and an entire community bustling around its centerpiece. Up ahead, there it is, Porto Firenze, Cittadella Grande Furnace, the Furnace City. We made it. Be continued. I'll stop right here. Yes, that was Max's update. So we're gonna do all the parts for Ray, Alex, and Cody. Raymond Azaria, huh? Or you something special. But wait, you know, right? Only cordial. I've had my eye on that guy since our days in academia. He's a good man with a good heart and a good aim. You should be lucky to have him on your side. I do feel lucky to have met him. You don't get through tough times or a tight boat alone. He helped me through a lot of difficult times. He watched over you all. The eagle's words warmed your heart, but enough to face the early morning darkness with a little less reluctance. Okay, with some of these characters, more of these characters had like sprites, you know. I know that's kind of like time consuming and you don't have enough resources to make sprites, but you kind of wish you just there was some sprites for these some of these characters, because there's so many different characters, just so they can have an idea of what they look like. But anyway, I mean, he's an eagle. I would like to see what an eagle looks like. We haven't really seen what birds look like. We got to see what mammals look like, and a dragon and a shark, but I haven't seen. I don't think I have seen a bird yet. Thank you, Sir Pigman. Dumb, isn't it? I await your return as heroes if all goes well. If you're not sure, if you're not sure you can hide. Wait a minute. If you're not sure you can ride, you can always ride with me, love. Sure, thanks for offering, Ray. Why wouldn't I? Anything to keep you close the whole time. That's very creepy, right? Not, not like that. It's fine. I know what you want, Ray. I know what you meant, Ray. Let's go. Thanks, babe. You hopped onto Ray's hoof and made yourself comfortable. Just sit tight with them for now, Dave. Guess you're stuck with me. I guess that'll do. Make sure you take care of Dave. Got it? All right. You'll be my second pair of eyes, Dave. Means I can keep my eyes on you too, huh? I'm glad to hear. Hey, focus. This is a field trip. Make sure you keep up. Make sure you keep up with your duties. Yeah, don't strain yourself, Max. You'll tire yourself out early like that. Right. We'll keep you guys informed for any changes ahead. Keep an eye out for any warning flares. Will do. Don't do anything stupid, Ray. Without much more fanfare, you found yourself galloping ahead with Ray until a decent distance was placed between yourself and the main caravan before slowing down. What do you think of riding? What do you think of my riding skills, Dave? With my devil's charm, I'd make for quite the Prince Charming, don't you think? Maybe. It's really quiet out here. Never realized how much I miss the city, how much I miss the sound of the city. Yeah, we're still pretty close to Akai, so most nether beasts don't use the main road. I hope Alex is alright. I hope Alex is right that Akai will hold stronger than the Golden Crystal did. Once we start getting out of its range, things will start to look very different from here. So keep your eyes peeled for anything unusual. Even if you're not sure, let me know, yeah? Yeah, I gotcha. Actually, could you tell me more about the places we're going to? You mean Venezia and Firenze? Yeah, what are those places like? I guess I know a thing or two about Firenze, or Fort Firenze as it goes by these days. It used to be a small mining town built in the valleys, kind of like Crystal Coast. The mines weren't as plentiful, but there was always a surplus of fire crystals. The main enterprise was serving large scale smelters. Though even with that kind of business, they never really grew as big as Venezia. When the king's influence started spreading eastward, most of the people fled to Crystal Coast. But because of all the fortifications they made in the lead up to the mass exodus, it was repurposed into a military garrison. Is it still in use? Yep, the town's right on the fringe of Takai's influence, so they fend off most of the direct attacks from Nether Beasts, though the same can't be said for Venezia. What happened there? I'm not exactly sure about the specifics. I used to get really distracted in history class during the academy, but the Cliff Notes version, Venezia was a pretty rich city. They wanted to throw around their financial influence to become their own government or political entity. When the invasion started, they were aware of the old capital's fall. For some reason, they just dragged their feet until the last second. Wait, how did that even happen? I'm not sure, because it was a government run by businessmen, so everything needed to be approved. So their soldiers were stuck in their barracks until the king's army were literally at their doorstep. It was a massacre. Most of the population died that day. They did end up repelling The invaders in the air, but the city's been reduced to a small town of Suttons that refuse to engage with the outside world anymore. And we're going there after the fort. Yeah, we should be okay as long as we stay away from the town itself. They still engage in trade, though, according to reports. Yeah, I hope so, too. As the conversation drifted onto other topics, you could feel the sun begin to descend beyond the shady treetops. Once you got the team talking, time seemed to go by faster, though you couldn't tell how far you traveled without any obvious landmarks to look for. Until then, you hadn't encountered any form of nether opposition, nor did any of your surroundings stand out as peculiar. Everything as normal as the forest you had arrived in, though they had been a pattern of darkened patches of soil hosting weathered vegetation almost as if scorched by ice. Sometimes you look over to Ray, who noticed and glanced back with a smile before focusing on the path ahead. It seemed like everyone was a lot more preoccupied keeping an eye for active threats to notice it. You decided not to bring it up, at least not at the time. There were more pressing things to look out for. After a while, you tried to relax, maintaining an upright posture so as not to tip over whenever the hoof made a sudden turn every now and then. Returning to silence, time seemed to slow down. Again, the perception of distance distorted by the samey landscape of forests and rocky hillsides. It was only when the tree line broke up just ahead to reveal the vast valleys in the distance. Kodayan, so Skullcruster is coming out of retirement. I'm happy to see him get back to the battlefield, but I won't deny I'm going to miss his meals. He's a lot more reliable than he thinks of himself. You make sure to return the favor by pulling your own weight, assistant self. Why, of course I will. The Eagle's words warmed your heart, just enough to face the early morning darkness with a little less reluctance. Thank you, Sir Pickman. Don't mention it. If it's alright with you, Dave, you can ride with me. Oh, sure thing. Though it looks like the back of the hovel is already full of your stuff. How about in front? Sure, that's workable, I guess. Just hope it's not too snug a fit for you. It would be nice to have company in the back by myself. We could discuss what's for dinner then. Right. Get a head start on the get a head start on it. Okay, I guess it's a little bit more of coded here. Um, Alex's part really didn't have anything at all. So there won't be any dinner if you don't watch supplies too, you guys. Don't forget about those rascally critters. We will, Max, don't worry. You felt a nudge at your back as the bear pulled you out of your thoughts. Are you hungry, Dave? Me? I don't know. I was just thinking about some things. Nestled within the foothills, you could see the giant smokestack puffing in the center of what will soon be the aforementioned fortress. The city was encased in towering walls of concrete, and entire community bustling around its centerpiece. Welcome to Fort Forensic, Furnace City of Dancing Flames. We made it. To be continued. True. Alex. You know, I don't believe I've seen Master Alexander this ecstatic about anything in a long time. Huh? He seemed pretty upset about it. I figured he would rather stay and help with the research. Normally, that would be the case. However, with the laboratory damaged and no longer under the protection of the crystal, it wouldn't be safe. I think getting away from Crystal Coast might be something he needed for some time. You take care of him, understood? He's a brilliant mind. Would be ashamed to waste it. The eagle's words warmed your heart just enough to face the early morning darkness with a little less reluctance. Thank you, Sir Pinkman. Don't mention it. I wait your return as heroes if all goes well. If there's no other way, we can share mine, Dave. You sure we can both fit on the same half? There should be enough space. We're not as bulky as the others. You should. You sure you don't mind? We have expected you to tell me to just get in. Do you want to or not? I mean, yes, of course. You hopped onto Alex's health and made yourself comfortable. Everyone's properly mounted, Matt's guided everyone towards the city's outer gate. That's That's really it. Mm. We don't must well not much different here. These roots here. I think Cody's gonna be the same really. No, I've actually been really comfortable here. It's almost like sitting in a high-end sofa, so soft and fluffy. Really? Yeah. You looked over to the bear, who seemed flustered, avoiding your gaze. Cody, yes? I'm not making you uncomfortable, am I? What? No, no, not at all. It's just I'm not used to being complimented, so I don't know what would be the appropriate reaction to that. I understand. That's alright, Cody. You'll get used to it with time. No. The bear looked to the others, making sure they weren't alarmed by his sudden interjection. I mean, no, you can just be yourself, Dave. It's not it's not that I don't like compliments, it's more that I don't know what to do when I get them from people. But you take compliments for your cooking all the time, don't you? That's my cooking, not my attractiveness. It's weird, isn't it? Nah, I think it's cute. Dave? Hmm? Alright, never mind. What? Come on, Cody. You can't just keep doing this to me. I didn't mean to. It's just, well, let's talk about it when we get to the safety of Fort Forensic, okay? Okay, is there a reason that you can't just tell me now? Well, not really. I mean, yes, I could, but it's a rather sensitive topic. I guess I'm not used to saying it outright. Well, it's alright, Cody. I can wait. Thanks, Dave. No problem. Well, now, if you don't mind, you decide to lean against the bear's embrace, letting out a deep, satisfied sigh. It does indeed feel heavenly. Skip too far. Okay, so I wonder what Cody was gonna tell Dave. I think I know what he's wanted to say, but I think I know what he wanted to tell Dave, but I can give your own opinions in the comment section. Yeah, you skipping it. Huh? Alright, so now make save here. Alright, so that was a new update. So we covered all the routes, all the four main characters. Alex has had the least amount of content. So the main difference really was with the guard his opinion of each of them, and that's mostly about it. I think Cody, and I think we played all of Max's update, the full update, and we got to play the bits of the other characters with Wade and Alex and then Cody. Wade's part, he practically said the same stuff, you know, with the history of the cities, with he practically said the same thing that Alex said, but instead of Alex saying it in the other routes, in Ray's route, Dave goes with Ray instead of staying with the others. He goes with Ray, and Ray tells him about the history of the cities and the mining operations. But it was the same, really. And there was nothing unique about Alex. After the guard said his bit about Alex, we skipped through it, and there was nothing for him. And we got a little bit more stuff with Cody, and him about to tell something to Dave, but he decided to hold up on that until later. It's got kind of, Dave got kind of frustrated because Cody has a habit of doing that. He's about to say something to you, and then he decided to go back on it. So I think I know where it is, but we'll have to wait. Alright, so that's everything so far for Heroes Advent. Can't wait to visit these new cities, and actually look forward to this part of the story now, because we're leaving Crystal Coast and we're exploring more of the world. So we get to see more cities and what's life like outside of Crystal Coast. So thank you all very much for watching. Goodbye.